Hey everyone, Mark Dude here. So this is an update video about my comic book series, my fan-made comic series, Mario and Equestria Girls: Dimensional Crisis. So for those unaware, it was a comic that was focusing on the Mario and the Equestria Girls series, but it also had some other crossover characters inside of it because it was supposed to be a party for Yoshi in Peach's Castle. And because this comic is supposed to be taking place after my other canceled series, Journey Across Worlds, there were other crossover characters in it because Yoshi wanted a lot of his friends over there. Well, this was a surprise birthday party, but, it made sense, a big party, have all your friends over there, etc., etc. So that's why I had all those crossover characters in it. But the main story was focusing on the Mario and Equestria Girls characters, because in this crossover, I had planned the Dazzlings come back and team up with the Koopalings to steal magic from Sunset Shimmer's book. The book that she writes to Twilight and Equestria. They would take that magic, get their powers back, and then open a portal to Equestria to go back there. Now, as you already know, if you haven't noticed by now, I haven't made any more updates to any of the comic dubs or anything. It's because that recently I realized that I couldn't be continuing on with this series. The series kicked off without a hitch. Like, many people loved it. It's actually how I met my friend Nintendrar. So I actually thank this series for having me collaborate with her in this. So at first, many people loved it and wanted more and more and more. Hence why I kept going on with it. But I don't know why, but as I continued on, instead of continuing on with the story, I kind of pushed onward with the story was still there, but it was more a side piece because I was mainly focusing on the crossover aspect, and by that I mean I was mainly putting way too many crossover characters in there. So that was why the series took a long time to get to the main plot point. I realized that mistake, and that's why when I put it on hiatus and then brought it back, I made sure to go straight out to the story without worrying about the other crossover characters in there. They would get minor parts. So the whole point of this video right here updating is because I already made the announcement that I had to cancel this series because I realized that with so many other projects that I have on hand, plus costs of paying for the comic pages and everything, it would take way too much on me, and the comic would be a very, very long thing because we were nowhere near the end of the story, nowhere near it. Right now in the story, we're just getting to the part where the main big thing happens. Right now in the story, and by that I mean right now in the story where it's actually illustrated. The story's right now where Mario, Daisy, Yoshi, Rainbow Dash, Twilight, and Sunset are all in the forest, and they see the Dazzlings with Bowser Jr., Larry, and Ludwig. And the girls are telling Mario, Daisy, and Yoshi about who the Dazzlings are and stuff. After this part, it's when things will get interesting. The girls and the Mario cast would go up against the Dazzlings right here, and then more and more crisis things happening over back in the Peach's Castle with the guest. And then eventually, I was going to do a big thing. And a big thing was I was gonna have Mario, Daisy, Rainbow Dash, and Sunset go into Equestria to get help from the Equestria version of Twilight. I was gonna have her show up and have her help out the issue going on, because since the portal to Equestria was opening from there and the Mario universe, they both had to figure out a way to close the portal from both ends. I was even gonna have Sunburst show up, Starlight show up, and Flash Sentry was gonna also be at the party too, by the way. Yeah, so it was supposed to be a big thing. Also, since Mario and Daisy go over to Equestria, they would also get, pony forms. I would have Mario be an Earth Pony, and then Daisy be a Pegasus. I was gonna have Daisy be an Earth Pony too, but I wanted to switch it up a little bit, just to make it more interesting. And then after that, once Mario, Daisy, Rainbow Dash, and Sunset go back into the Mario universe, because they were fighting with the Dazzlings and stuff, Mario and Daisy reached for Sunset's book, which is like spewing out a lot of equestrian magic. And because they were fighting over the Dazzlings with it, Mario and Daisy absorb some equestrian magic, and they get equestrian powered up forms. They wouldn't get like ponytail ears or anything. They would just get like updated clothing and a little bit like coloring in their hair. I actually like have this drawn already, but yeah, that was like supposed to be like their equestrian powered up forms in a way. And then once the Dazzlings were going to be defeated, the equestrian version of Twilight, she would come here into the Mario universe and then send the Dazzlings over to a very, very, very secluded like dungeon area where they would never be able to escape at all. So that was like the ending there. After that, Mario and Daisy would keep those equestrian like powered up forms to use whenever they wanted to. And then the whole thing ends with like a big party back over in Peach's castle. I am bummed that I couldn't have this story be set up appropriately, the whole way and then be finished already. I immediately went overboard with the crossover characters and stuff. That's my fault on that, and that's why the story is way too long and everything. I really should have just had this be focused on the Mario and the Equestria Girls only. But since it was a party, it didn't make sense that the Equestria Girls were there and then no one else from like anyone else. Like, why were they the only ones that were showing up there? Like, I wanted to like include other people there too. But again, the overabundance of the crossover characters was my fault entirely. Since I am like known to be the crossover guy, I immediately did that. So that's on me. Now, is this like the end of the whole thing that I'm doing with the Mario and Equestria Girls? Well, no. Because since a lot of the stories that I've made in my channel, a lot of them do take place after the events of all these things. So a lot of the projects that I do, they do take place within the quote-unquote universe of the whole thing. So all of them take place after that. So the events did happen, but, since they weren't illustrated, they were never like shown them and stuff. So they did happen, they just weren't, shown yet. So yeah, they'll be the events of the comic would be quote unquote canon to the stories that I have done in this channel. But I will probably maybe do a total revamp of the entire thing and do a whole new story and stuff that takes place after the events of Journey Across Worlds, because I really did love writing for this story because so many of you enjoyed a lot of the character pairings. People loved the the rivalry I had with Rainbow Dash and Daisy. They loved, all of you loved the friendship that I made. Having Mario and Sunset be like brother and sister to each other. Even though Steven Universe is not, I'm not gonna be including him in the reroute or whatever. People love the friendship I made with him and Bowser Jr. And also people love the Richter and Daisy friendship. Yeah, there was a lot of fans of you guys. They were really, really, really loving the whole thing. Also, I remember fans were laughing over how I had Larry Kuba have a small crush on Sunset Shimmer. So yeah, I may one day rewrite the entire thing. There's no promises of it ever being illustrated in the future. If it does, then it does. But right now, I might just rewrite it and just do a total revamp of the entire thing. I don't know how it will be, but I'll figure it out as it goes. I may make more posts, posting daily on my post thing on my channel to detail and put in more greater detail what would happen in each chapter and stuff for the story. So yeah, sadly again, the Mario and Equestria Girls comic thing is canceled for indefinitely. I'll probably do a whole total rewrite in the future one day. I do want to thank all the fans who really did fall into the series. My channel blew up when that thing came around. It really showed that I should be doing comic dubs from now on. So yeah, I do thank the fans for doing that. Thank you for being such loyal fans of the series. So yeah, again, the series is canceled, but do not worry, it is not the end.